Greetings in the name of JAH, Rastafari. Well, this is a very different sort of video for me. I'm inside my home, and I have behind me here a reveal of Juan O Savin, and I'll get to that in a moment. But just over a month ago, I was invited to a private event in Las Vegas at the Trump International Hotel. Oh yeah, I've made a video about this. It was called the Magador event, and that's my lanyard. You know, I lost track of how many times I've been to Las Vegas. First time I was 18 and I arrived in a pickup truck. Several other times by car. It's great coming in from the south, actually. And it's just a great city, what can I say? I've stayed in at least 10 hotels in the first year they were opened, including the Bellagio and the Wynn. As a matter of fact, the photo in my YouTube profile is me smiling in a Wynn hotel the year it was open in Las Vegas. I've even stayed in hotels that were imploded afterwards. The Desert Inn. I stayed in the Sahara, where the Rat Pack used to go. They've all been leveled and replaced, but I love Las Vegas, always have. And this last trip will be the experience I'll remember for a lifetime, and my favorite, because I met Juan O Savin. And I was so lucky to have breakfast with him on my last day there. And, oh, incoming. And I spent some time cruising around with him in a pickup truck. Which, you know, the truck he had because he was putting on the event and he had so much stuff to haul around, including these canvases. So, pardon for that interruption, it's a phone. Juan O Savin is a very, very special person. He is genuinely a good man. I'd say you need to meet 1 million to find one like him. It's hard to put your finger on exactly what it is that makes him so unique. His compassion, though, is very evident. He's totally sincere, but not at all soft and weak. But here's the thing, the key thing, is that he has spent his entire life in preparation for this moment in time. And his message is as serious as a heart attack. We are at war against evil. This is a winner-take-all situation, and losing is not an option. This man, Juan O Savin, he has this depth and breadth of knowledge and experience, the likes of which I've never seen before. It's incredible, as a matter of fact. There's no topic that he doesn't have some background on. Or he'll admit it right away if he doesn't know a lot about a topic, but he's just very, very well informed. It's something you rarely see. And his biblical knowledge is off the charts, and that's why a lot of us love him so much. And some of us connected through Gideon's Army and Jerry Foley. And by the way, those interviews are some of the best because it's really a different topic on Gideon's Army when you get Juan on there. But he has millions of people following him now, and thousands that are beside him, behind him, supporting him completely. Very, very devoted. So he won us all over with his style. You know, he has this incredible style of communication. And anyone who takes some time to listen to what he's saying, they know instinctively that Juan is the real deal. And I'll give you an example, and this is something really exciting to me. But what I'm holding right here is the draft of an executive summary, an executive order that Trump will sign in August. This is exciting for me because I work on documents my whole adult life. I'm an editor. And I'm holding in my hand, and guess what? It's 17 pages. But this proposed executive order is for establishing security integrity, and transparency for United States elections with protections against foreign interference. So the meeting in Vegas was primarily about election integrity, and that 130 people are in protective custody in the United States due to a handful of whistleblowers who needed their whole families protected and moved into the States to protect their lives because they are blowing the whistle on the biggest vote rigging scandal in history. It's going to blow people's heads off. And that's what this is about, this executive order. And all of the steps, Juan says, is that 50 years from now, history will remember Trump for being the president that fixed the election integrity issues. Because we're going back to paper ballots, count where cast on the same day, and small ridings of 1,500 people, and back to the origin of democracy. And it's just an amazing thing. And that's what I mean by serious as a heart attack. But he's lighthearted, and he doesn't take himself too seriously or this tragic situation that we find ourselves in. But his message has been really powerful across the globe. And it started with Kid by the Side of the Road. And I have my original one here. I also have another one that is in its packaging, and it's protected in a vault, and it can't be hurt. And he signed this on the back for me, but also on page 17, which is Juan O Savin. And I have one of the very rare books of the first 1,000 printing. And the painting or the canvas behind me is one of the very first that you'll see and issued out. Whilst I was at the event and part of the package, he also provided the Japanese version. And this is just so cool. And it's got some changes, and see how signed it. It's so brilliant that there's just some incredible compilation here, because the Japanese is on half the page, and this is a new thing. Incredible. And there's hidden meaning and symbolism to every single thing. Like, that's why I'm doing this video today. I'm going to cover it a little bit. But in the book itself, what you'll find is that it's got Japanese on half the page and English, so that it retains the same continuity, that it's still 84 pages long, counting the back page. But it's improved. Each time he makes them better and better and better. So it's Kid by the Side of the Road. He doesn't boast about how many have been sold, but if you counted the downloads and everything, it's well into the millions. He probably has an idea, but he's not the type of person to take victory lap when he knows how serious this time that we're involved in, which is the storm, and I'll show you that in a minute. But he put into writing, and he took action. But what he put into writing is the toughest topic in the world, and made it even family-friendly in a coffee table format. It was genius. But it's all to expose the truth of how we ended up in this war for our very freedom and liberty. Like, how did this happen? We were, a lot of us, asleep at the wheel, so that contributed to this happening. But in Kid by the Side of the Road, he takes you right back and explains how we got here. And this is why he has such a giant following, is that he's put it into writing and he backs it up. And you can cross-check it, and it is the honest to God's truth. So along the way, he decided that art was the medium. The best way to reach the people was through art. And if you consider that language is art, and his book is art, and it's filled with art, it's just phenomenal. It's filled with symbolic art. And then the movie, if you've not seen The Called, makings for a brand new day. Please, you gotta see it. I mean, some of my friends have seen it half a dozen times or more. I have a friend that watches it over and over again and finds new little hidden clues all throughout. And we'll talk about some of them in a second here. But everything has meaning. He loves numerology, gematria, and semaphore. He uses all of his esoteric knowledge, and believe me, he has a lot of esoteric knowledge. I suspect, by the way, and this is a bit of a side note, that when he was a child, he consumed science fiction and other books at a rate that, probably by the time he became a teenager, 13, he'd read more than a normal person would read in an entire lifetime. And he kept reading and reading and reading and editing and publishing and editing and etc. So that's where his knowledge comes from. I mean, some people think he's been appointed by God, and I like to think we're all appointed by God. And Juan is a man of God, but he's a man of knowledge as much or more than anything. He just has incredible knowledge and experience. So he always says in his narrative, too, he keeps it, as upbeat as it can be. But we're going to win this war. Take a deep breath, he says. We got this. He loves to say that. So of the couple hundred guests that attended the private event at the Trump Tower, it's called Trump International Hotel. Great place, by the way. On a side note, I was coming in. Wynn Hotel is only 7-minute walk, my favorite place. And the Strip is right there, too. It's really close. I was coming back in late. I could have sworn I saw Quan Galt. That Secret Service guy. He had the thing. But, I thought maybe it's Trump's premises. Maybe they hired Quan. But there's all kinds of security at the hotel. You don't see it. It's very discreet. And a cool hotel. It's got such a great vibe. Best view. Incredible food in the DJT restaurant. And just a really fun place in Vegas. And what I couldn't help but notice was how the staff had a relationship with Juan. And of course, he's been there on and off for years, coming and going from there. It's one of his favorite haunts, I believe. But it was just remarkable to see, like when I had breakfast, I asked the maitre d' to meet Juan for breakfast, and her face lit up and said, oh, he always sits back there in the corner. And so she sat me in his seat. And the waiter and all the people, they have like an inside joke with him, and they're all friends. They totally dig the guy. And that's his character, he's just a fun person to be around. So there were 6 Canadians in total amongst the couple hundred people. And some of us have created a chat group, and we communicate back and forth with each other to try and decode this, which I'm going to get out of the way in a minute. And we like to share notes, but some of us had the same message on the back of this, which is, on the back of mine it says, okay, I'm not going to cry over spilled milk, but the cookie, that's an entirely different matter. And Jen Max signed Beware the Cookie Monster. And this was all signed on 4/17/2025. So when Juan dropped me off at the airport, by the way, we both agreed to collaborate in the future. And guess what? The Almighty Creator dropped something on me, and it is huge. You'll hear about it in the future, but we got a huge collaboration coming down. It's so epic. We'll get to that. But I'm going to get out of the way and just point out some things that my friends and I have noticed. Now, first of all, right here, you will notice that was on Juan's license plate. And on the car that he drove, which was an Aston Martin. But he's got it in gold. And you can see he's working on the storm, and he's in the bathtub. He's got his hat on and his boots. There's a cookie up there, storm coming through the windows, spoon over here. And Here Comes the Storm, Jennifer Mack. There's so much hidden detail in this that it's just fabulous. And a lot of us are trying to say, watch the water or draining the swamp. It's sort of hard to know what all of the meaning is. And I'm keeping out of it here so that you can examine it. But yeah, this symbol is known throughout the whole Q world as the Punisher. And Juan's got the Punisher on his car. So this is a great time to be alive, everybody. And this man is a great leader. I hope that you get his books and keep supporting him, promote him, and listen to what he's saying, because he's dropping some big clues out there to us. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of all of this and to be a friend of his and to do anything that I can help, because really we are saving our own liberty. Our democracy is at risk here, and this is how we're going to save it. So remember, we forward in this generation triumphantly. Thank you very much for watching.